Okay, right, this is another Mathswatch video. This is the fourth Mathswatch video that I've done. In the next week I'll be doing and uploading the work for homework 3, but until then I've got this Mathswatch video, and then there's the live stream that will probably have been done by the time this gets uploaded. So let's get this one started anyway. So let's start with the first question. Let's get the pen out. There we go. It's just Mrs. Hassan gives her Year 8 class, just making sure that's recording. It is recording, awesome. Year 8 class test on Friday. The highest possible mark for the test was 10. The results are here as shown. How many people scored more than 7 in the test? So we want more than 7. So we're going to cross that out. So we want the score to be more than 7. So we look where 7 is, we draw a little line, and we count how many is above. So how many scored 8? Well, it's this amount, but we can't really tell what this is. So let's, so here is 10, here is 5. So if there are 10 of these little increments in between 5 and 10. So we can say that for every 2, we increase by 1. So there is 6, there is 7, there is 8, there is 9, and there is 10. And we've also got here 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. Right, okay, so how many scored more than 7? So we go across from here. We've reached 7, so there's 7 people scored 8. How many people in this class? Oh, okay, no, sorry, we got 9. So how many scored 9? 3. And for 10, it is 1. We go across, we're at 1. So we got 7 plus 3 plus 1. And that gives us 11, so we have 11 here. How many pupils are there in Mrs. Hassan's class? So we count again, 7, 3 ones, that's 11, this bit's 11. How many here? It's 2. How many here? Is 8. How many here? There is 4. And how many here? There is 1. So we want to add these scores. This is 10. This is 5. So 11 plus 10 plus 5 equal, that's really not very clear. So let's try that again. So 11 plus 10 plus 5 equals 26. There are 26 pupils in Mrs. Hassan's Year 8 class. What assumption have you made in answering part B? Okay, so firstly I'm just going to get rid of all that ink on the graph because it's kind of a bit awkward to try and there we go. Let's just get rid of that there. Let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of that. There we go. And I'll get rid of that as well. So that is a bit clearer to read. Let's get the pen back. What assumption have you made in answering part B? Oh, hold on, let's get rid of that as well, just to tidy things up. Okay, so what assumptions have we made in answering part B? Well, we could assume that all the children that attended Year 8's class were there on Friday. There were no absences, because if there were absences, then they wouldn't have a score, so their score would be non-applicable because they were absent. If there were 10 kids that weren't there, you say there's a class of 36, but only 26 actually received scores on the test. So we could say the assumption that we've made is that all children took test. Or words to that effect. Basically say that there were no absences and that all the children that took the test, all the children in the class took the test that day. That's what I put for that anyway. Right, let's go to the next slide. Let's get that pen back. Jo records the number of text messages she receives each day. She uses the information to draw this chart, write down 3 mistakes. No labelled Y. Yep, okay, so that's right. Yep, the x-axis hasn't been labelled, so you'd put days here, and then here you'd write number of texts. I'm not very good at writing this words. Number of texts. What else? What other mistakes has been made? Right, well, the biggest mistake as far as I'm concerned is this here. The graph at the bottom starts at 1. The graph should start at 0. So y axis starts at 1. Should start at 0. You can put that as well, but y-axis starts at 1. That is the other mistake. And the last mistake, which I think is pretty obvious, when you look at these columns, there's a bar, then Monday, and a bar, and Tuesday. Here, there's half a bar, Wednesday, and then 1.5 columns, then Thursday, then a whole column on Friday. The columns, this column, this column, this column, this column, this column, are not evenly distributed. Columns evenly, or evenly separated, probably a better word. Sorry, handwriting is awful. Separated. Right. Sorry. Just need to grab my squash. My squash is very important. So those are 3 mistakes that Jo has made right on the bar chart. Let's go on to the next question. A survey asking people about their favourite pet was carried out last week. Some of the results are shown in this dual bar chart below. Okay. What was the most popular choice for women? Well, women, the bars representing women are using this pattern. We look at the highest one, we can see that it is dog. And what was the most popular choice? The most popular choice for women was dog. 2 men chose hamster. Complete the bar chart. Okay, so men is using this light blue. Do I have a light blue? I do have a light blue. So, we go to hamster, which is here. The men is in light blue. We do the bar next to hamster. We go find the 2, which is there. We do something that looks a bit like that, and then you just colour it in. I mean, I'm not going to colour it in totally because I'll be here all day, but basically something that looks like that. Okay, let's go to red now. How many more people chose dog than cat? Right, so let's work out how many is in dog, how many is in cat, and then work out the difference. So, men, 8 men, because this is 8. 8 men chose cat, 5 women chose cat. 7 men chose dog, 11 women chose dog. So let's add these up. 8 plus 5 is 13, 7 plus 11 is 18, and the difference between these two is 5, because you have to add 5 to 13 to get to 18, so our answer is 5. How many people were surveyed in total? So now we just find out how many is in each column and add it all up. So here is 5, here is 3, here is 2, here is 6. These are both 3. So we just want to add these numbers together. I think it's best to add the pair of numbers together, and then add the pairs of columns together, then add the numbers together. So 13, 18, 5 plus 3 is 8, 2 plus 6 is 8, 3 plus 3 is 6. So we're adding 13, 18, 8, 8, and 6. So 8, 60, you can't use calculator, so you do have to use this method. 8, 16, 22, 28, 31, we do a 1, and then a 3 carries. 1 plus 1 plus 3 is 5, 51. 13, 18, 8, 8, and 6. 8, 5, 7, 11, 5, 3, yeah, so we have 51. Which is a bit odd, because normally these kind of things kind of rounded out at 50, but yeah, this is 51. Okay, so there is our answer. Our answer is 51, and let's go to the next bit. A dual bar chart shows how a group of 190 students travel to work. Given that 50 students said they travel by car, complete the table below. Okay, so we know that this here, these two columns add up to 50, because given that 50 said they travel by school, and this is all who they travel by school. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is 6 of something. 6 lots of a unknown increment. An increment is how much each row goes up by. So we have an increment that we don't know what the increment is, but we know that 6 lots of it is where this blue column stops. We know that 4 lots of this increment is where the boys stop. The girls have 6 lots of X, the boys have 4 lots of X. We know that the total for cars is 50. So we know that 6x plus 4x equals 50. And we just solve for this. 6x plus 4x is 10x equals 50. X equals 5. So now we can replace our we can replace these here. That 6x becomes 5 times 6, which is 30. Oh, sorry. So we can put 30 here. We can put 20 there. And that makes sense, because we can say that there are 20 boys that travel by car, there are 30 girls that travel by car, and altogether that makes the 50 that we're looking for. So we know that each of these increments represents 5. So we just have to count how many increments each thing is, each column is, add them together, and then multiply it by 5 to get the actual total. So, how many increments is this? This is 7, or 35. This is 8, or 40. So we're adding these two numbers together, because this is 35, this is 40. 35 plus 40 is 75, so that's that one done. This is 5, because it's just one increment. This is 15, because it's 3 increments. 5 plus 15 is 20, so 20 kids cycle to school. And then we look at walk, we see here 25, with halfway between 25 and 20 and 30, 25. This one, we go across, it goes to 20, so 25 and 20, that becomes 45, and that is done. But there is a good way that we can see if we've actually gotten a vaguely right answer, and that is by simply adding up these 4 numbers. Do we get 190? Because 190 is what we're looking for. So 50, 75, 20, and 45. Let's add these up. 5 plus 5 is 10, 0, 1. 5 plus 7 is 12, plus 2 is 14, plus 4 is 18, plus 1 is 19, 19. And that is the number we were looking for. So we've pretty sure we've got that right. Okay, I am just going to go to the toilet. I shall be right back. How do I pause this? Just by... Right, okay, I'm back. Okay, so Ben Nevis had a height of approximately 1,300 meters above sea level. Assuming that temperature decreases by 1 degree for every 100 meters above sea level, work out the temperature of the summit of Ben Nevis when the sea level is 5 degrees. So if we start at 5 degrees, so we have the sea level, and we have the temperature. So when the sea level is when we are 0 meters above sea level, the temperature is 5. and the temperature decreases by 1 for every 100 meters. So when we go up here by 100, we are subtracting 1 from here. So at 100 meters, we are at 4. At 200 meters, we are at 3, and so on and so forth. So we want to know how many times are we going up. Well, we're going up 13 increments up to 1300. So if we go up here 13 times, we're going down here 13 times. So it's 5, which is our initial temperature, subtract 13, because we've gone above sea level 13 lots of 100. For every 100 we subtract 1, so it's 13 times minus 1. So the above sea level is 1300, the temperature goes down by 13. And if the original is 5, then it's 5 subtract 13, which is minus 8. So the temperature at the summit of Ben Nevis, when the sea level temperature is 5, is minus 8 degrees. Right. A pack of batteries costs £4.99. How much does each battery cost? Give your answer to the nearest penny. Now, the nice thing about this question is that we can use a calculator. So, let me just use a calculator on my phone. You want £4.99 divided by 8. £4.99 divided by 8, and that gives you 0.62375. We want this to the nearest penny. Here is the nearest penny. That's the last column before. This is the pennies column, the 10 pennies column, and then the pounds column. So this here we're going to round down, so it stays at 62 pence. That is the answer to the nearest penny. A pack of 6 batteries of the same type costs £3.49. Work out which is better value. So again, we do £3.49 divided by 6, or in the calculator you would do £3.49 divided by 6. What does that give us? This gives us, make sure I put that incorrectly, 349 divided by 6 gives us 0.581. We round down, we get rid of that, so we've just got 58p. So which one is better? Well, the 6 batteries costing $3.49 is better, because per battery is 58p for these ones. For the ones above, per battery is 62p. You're paying 4 pence less per battery, and that's how you work out which is better value. This one is better value because you're paying less per battery. Next question. Perfume is sold in 2 different sizes of bottle. The 80ml bottle is priced at £62.50. The 50ml bottle is usually priced at £50, but there's a special offer. If you buy one 50ml bottle of perfume, you get a second for half price. By calculating the price per milliliter, which one's better? So this is a kind of question that really applies to real life. So, or perfume or cologne, depending on what you might wear. So let's work out how much is best. The price per milliliter. This is what it wants to know. It's not about the price per penny, it's about the price per milliliter. So we want to do £62.50 divided by 80, because we're dividing the pounds by the milliliter to work out the price per milliliter. So again, we can use the calculator. So 62.50 divided by 80 gives us 0.78125, or if you want to just round to the nearest penny, 78 pence per milliliter. But this one, we want to compare it to the second one. So 2 lots of 50ml, that's 100ml. So we're getting 100 millilitres. The first one is 50 quid, but the second one we get for half price. Half of 50 is 25. So the first one is 50, the second one is 25, we get 75. So it's going to be £75 for 100 millilitres. So we want to do £75 divided by 100 millilitres. That gives us 75 pence per millilitre. Which one is better value for money? Well, we're looking for the smaller number because we're looking for the cheaper one. This is cheaper, therefore we're going to say that the 2 bottles of 50 ml are cheaper. It's not very clear to read, but you know what I'm saying. We've worked out that the 2 bottles of 50 millilitre perfumes are cheaper than one 80 ml bottle. It's £2.50. Right, let's go to the next question. The work in an office takes 180 hours to complete every week. Each person in the office works for 35 hours. What is the smallest number of people needed to complete the work? So we have 180 hours needed. Each person can work for 35 hours. We can't use a calculator, so we're going to do long division. So how many 35s go into... oh no, I've done this the wrong way around, haven't I? Sorry. I'm always doing that with these division sums. So we're doing 180... No, wait, I did it right the first time round, didn't I? Yeah. So we're going to do 35, and we're doing 180 over 35. So how many 35s go into 1? 0. How many 35s go into 18? 0. How many 35s go into 180? We count up 35, 70, 105, 140, 175. We have 5 with a recurrence, with a point. We've got an amount left over. We have 5 left over. How many 35s go into 50? 1. Remainder 15. And then it goes on. So what is the smallest number of people? Well, if we have 5 people, we still have some work left over. We need 6. We need 5 people to do 35 hours of work. We need 1 person to do 5 hours of work. And that adds up to 180. The number of hours each person works is decreased to 30. Does the office still need the same number of people? Well, let's just do the same thing again. 180 divided by 30. Cross out the zeros. 18 divided by 3. That gives 6. The number hasn't changed. The number of people needed to work hasn't changed. So the answer is yes. The office still needs the same number of people. Next question. At a depth of X meters, the temperature of the water in the ocean is T. At a depth below 900 meters, T is inversely proportional to X. T is given by T equals 4,500 divided by X. Work out the difference in the temperature of the water at 1,000 meters and the temperature of the water at a depth of 2,500 meters. So, let's work out the temperature at 100,000 meters. So 4,500 over X, which is our meters, which we have here 1,000. This gives us 4.5 Celsius. That's our temperature. And so this is our first temperature. Our second temperature is going to be 4,500 over our new depth, which is 2,500. Now, if you don't want to work this out, this is a calculator question, so we can just put it in the calculator. 4,500 divided by 2,500, which is 1.8. Now the question says work out the difference. So in our calculator, 4.5 minus 1.8 gives you 2.7. 4.5 minus 1.8 equals 2.7. There is our answer. The difference in temperature of the water at a depth of 1,000 and the temperature of the depth of 2500 is 2.7 degrees. Next question. To complete a task in 30 days, a company needs 4 people each working for 7 hours per day. A company decides to have 5 people each working for 6 hours per day. Assuming that each person works at the same rate, how many days will the task take to complete now? So, this is an inverse proportion question. So we're going to have 30 as the number of days equals each person's work over 4. We're going to bring the 4 up here. So if it was one person working, they'd have to work if it was one person working 7 hours a day, it would take 120 days. We're going to divide this by 5 because that's 5 people working. It will take 24 days to complete. Oh, but for 6 hours a day instead of 7. Oh, okay, that's an interesting twist. I didn't actually see that. This is me not reading the question properly. Right, so 4 people each working 7 hours a day. So 4 people each working 7 hours. That's a total of 28 hours per day, and this takes 30 days. So, because we can use our calculator, we can work out how many hours it will take. So 4 people working 7 hours a day, that's 28 hours of work done per day. There are 30 days to complete the task, so if we multiply 28 by 30, we see that in the 30 days there are 840 hours of work done. Assuming that people work at the same rate, how many days would it take if 5 people each work for 6 hours a day? So now we have 5 people working 6 hours. That's 30 hours of work, because 5 people working 6 hours, that's 5 lots of 6 hours. We've got 30 hours. Now we want to know how many days it takes to get 840. So 30 times something equals 840. Well, we just divide both sides by 30. And that gives us 28. So, how many days would it take to complete now? It will take 28 days to complete. There is your answer. And that is what I nearly got for not reading the question correctly. So next question. In this question we use 1 kilogram is 2.2 pounds and 1 stone being equal to 14 pounds. Change 98 kilograms into stones and you're allowed to use a calculator. So, let's have a look. 98 kilograms. Now, which one of these has kilograms in it? It's this one. This line has kilograms because we have kilograms and pounds, then pounds to stone. We need to use pounds as a way of connecting these two lines. So we're going to, if for every 1 kilogram you have 2.2 pounds, we need to multiply this by 2.2 to get to pounds. 98 times 2.2. Because how do we get from kilograms to pounds? How do we get from 1 to 2.2? You multiply by 2.2. This gives us, because I've just got on the calculator, 215.6. Now, this is pounds. We don't want pounds, we want stone. How do we get from pounds to stone? We divide by 14. Because going from 14 to 1, and this is proportion, we divide by 14. So 215.6 divided by 14. So I'm going to write that again. 215.6 divided by 14 equals 15.4 4 stone. And that's our answer, 15.4. There we go. Next question. On Monday, it took 3 builders 5.5 hours to build a wall. An identical wall needs to be built on Tuesday and 5 workers are available. Each builder is paid £8.90 for each hour or part of an hour that they work. How much will each builder be paid for the work completed on Tuesday? So, it takes 3 builders 5.5 hours. So this is an inverse proportion. This first bit is inverse proportion. So if we only had 1 builder, we divide that side by 3, we multiply this side by 3, it would take 1 builder 16.5 hours to work, but we have 5 builders, so we multiply this side by 5, and then we divide this 5 by 5, because we're doing the inverse operation. So 5 builders, it takes 16.5 divided by 5, 3.3. So 5 builders work 3.3 hours. So how much is it to pay an hour? £8.90. So we have 3 full hours. So we have 3 lots of £8.90. It says each builder is paid £8.90 for each hour or part of an hour. So this 0.3 is part of an hour. So they have an extra £8.90 because they've worked 3 full hours and 1 part of an hour. So we want 4 lots of £8.90. So £8.90 times 4 is 35.6, or in terms of money, £35.60. The question says work out how much each builder will be paid for the work completed on Tuesday. There is our answer, 35.6, or make it applicable for money, £35.60. Oh, right, is this the last one? Yeah. Beatrice, that's a really cool name. Beatrice is making a vegetable stew for 8 people. A recipe for 2 people indicates that 10 ounces of diced potatoes are needed. The scale below shows how much diced potatoes she has already prepared. Beatrice knows that 1 ounce is approximately 28 grams. Work out how many more grams of diced potatoes are needed to make a vegetable stew for 8 people. So, this has got a lot of writing. So let's start off with how many grams does she have? Well, there are 5 increments between 700 and 800. Which means each increment is worth 20, because this whole gap is worth 100, and there are 5 increments, so we know that each increment is worth 20. The arrow is 2 increments across, 2 lots of 20 is 40, add that to 700, so we know that she has 740 grams of diced potato. A recipe for 2 people shows that 10 ounces are needed. We have 8 people, we multiply that by 4. So 8 people, we need 40 ounces of potatoes. Right, okay. Beatrice knows that 1 ounce is approximately 28 grams. So, if 1 ounce equals 28 grams, we need 40 ounces. We multiply both sides by 40. You're not allowed to use a calculator here, so you've got to do it using multiplication. So, 28 multiplied by 40. 8 times 0. Oh, hold on, let's get rid of this bottom line. 8 times 0 is 0, so we're not going to put anything there. 2 times 0 is 0. 8 times 40 is 320. 20 times 40 is 800. We add these together, we get 0, 2, 1, 1. So we know that she needs roughly 1,120 grams. However, she only has 740. We worked that out. So we want to know how many more grams are needed. So it's just a simple 1, 1, 2, 0, subtract 7, 4, 0. So let's go through this question. 0 minus 0 is 0. 2 minus 4, we can't do that, so we'll take 1 off here. 1. 12 minus 4, that is 8. 0 minus 7, we can't do that, so we pinch something off there. 1. 10 minus 7 is 3. And our answer is 380 grams. 380 more grams are needed in order to make the vegetable stew for 8 people. And that should be right. Okay, that is all the Mathswatch questions, I think. Yep. Thank you for watching. I will get the live stream out tomorrow. Well, at the time of this being uploaded, it'll already been done. I will get to work on the homework 3 questions soon. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.